All right, this is Jimmy Cabs, the 5150 interview series in Bulldozer Magazine. This is really interesting. We're at the Black Castle here in Los Angeles. I'm here with Peter Beste, underground photographer extraordinaire. You are basically known, first of all, you are a real photographer. You're basically known for the true Norwegian book that you put out of photography, which, by the way, let me commend you on that. Fucking amazing book.
Thank you.
You're here in Los Angeles, but you're doing a little tour about a new idea. Now, I'm glad that someone finally came to the realization of this topic, which we're going to get into. Why don't you tell me what your new photography book is going to be about?
Well, I'm really interested in photographing heavy metal battle jackets or battle vests, as just a really interesting part of the fashion of underground metal and punk and other subcultures I usually like to document. And just like graphically, it's really interesting, and it's I could just envision the end product as a nice little book. So just traveling all up and down the east and west coast and a couple of European places over the next few months. And I would promise not to take too long with it. The black metal book took years to put together, But.
This is interesting because you're not going to believe this or not. I'm actually in my 40s. So when you say battle vests, there's a demographic of people out there that are my age. They're going, what the fuck is that? What they're talking about is your denim and leather, your denim. In my day, in the 80s, when it wasn't cool, we used to get beat up for that. We didn't get laid, and the cops loved to fuck with us. On top of the mafia connection, here in Los Angeles, are you aware of the denim mafia connection?
No, I have to hear about this.
Okay, well, like in certain regions of Los Angeles, the denim with the patches represents from outlaw motorcycle gangs to we would say like rocker type gangs to they're almost extinct nowadays except for the motorcycle element. But back before the metal infusion, before it was cool, like in my era, if you wore denim with patches, especially satanic oriented patches that weren't even made back then, we would make them ourselves, you stood out as a satanic gang. So you would get hit up constantly from law enforcement to the gang element. Boy, time has changed. What is your definition of battle vests, and why do you think kids are so fascinated with that, especially now in this stage? I've seen it for like the last 30 years.
I think it's basically your passport almost, like all the places you've been, and it's sort of like, I don't know, it's really valuable because everything is like from your own blood, sweat, and tears, and it's not like something you bought at the mall, all fully assembled, like there's a story to each one, and we've seen some really cool submissions so far.
Do you own a battle vest yourself?
I don't at this point, but I'm working on it. I'm going to one of these days. I'm working on it, yeah.
This is really interesting, Peter. When you see someone wearing a vest, like as you mentioned, it takes a lot of their personality, and it's basically it's a billboard of what they're into, and what they're all about. Is there an age where, or a cutoff age for battle vests?
Oh no, absolutely. The old and the young. I'm just kind of like do what you want to do and wear what you want to wear. I don't think like people should take it off at a certain age and just wear the suit and tie. That's not my philosophy. So, it's just a lifelong thing, I think, for a lot of people.
So then someone like, say, my age, I'll be 45 in a couple of days. Am I a dick for wearing my vest at certain shows?
Oh, no, you absolutely should, man. The young ones will love it.
Do you kids get laid nowadays with those vests? Because in my day, no one was going to spread for you wearing that shit.
I'm not sure. I think you're asking the wrong guy. But, some damn good-looking vests out there, and people put a lot of time and energy into it, so...
Okay, let's talk about your project, photographer extraordinaire. You're going to be shooting the vests, as you mentioned, you're on a little tour. What is it that you're looking for specifically? What interests you? Because your black metal book, even though it says it all, it had different dynamics, especially your photo. I love your photography, by the way. Each photo not only had a different vibe to it, a different story, it was a very different element, which overall gave you the whole vibe of black metal. How are you doing this with this book?
Well, I do that by spending time with the subjects and not just swooping in for an afternoon and taking pictures and then leaving forever. It's sort of a repeat thing. I like to really immerse myself, So I think that's part of it. And for this specifically, I'm doing some kind of like product style shots of the jackets by themselves, which is one small element to the book. But then the other part is how people wear them and just candid portraits and just what I naturally do, environmental portraits, with that kind of attire, I guess you could say. It sounds so clinical, but, just be a fly on the wall and photograph people, which is kind of what I do. You know.
Isn't it amazing, though, how these vests not only have crossed from the underground subculture, but now they're considered fashion statements. I mean, there's like publicists, PR people that are paying thousands of dollars, so their actor, hip hop artist, whatever, which has nothing to do with the underground genre, they want to be seen wearing like a COC fucking vest or a punk jacket.
It is. I mean, that's just like mainstream kind of ends up co-opting things. You know, that's just what they do. So I'm more interested in the underground ones. Absolutely.
Now, this is interesting. There is a big, you would think that jackets, denim jackets, or leather vests, or what have you, with patches, you would think that universally it would be all the same. But I've noticed throughout my 30 years of being in the underground, it's different from Europe to America to Japan to even in the United States, from San Francisco to LA. It's all different. Have you noticed that, and are you going to focus on the distinction?
Oh, absolutely. You know, everyone's is unique, and I've seen all kinds of different sort of subgenres of styles of, you know, the simple black and white look to the patched over, no, you know, inch left unturned, and everything in between. So it's just like you know, expression of that person's style and, you know, whole thing that they're trying to put across.
I like that you keep mentioning that it's the individual style, because I even seen within the last 5 years females coming out wearing vests. Back in my day, if a woman wore a vest at a show, she didn't look like a woman, you know. But now even females are getting into it.
Yeah. There's no, you know, there's no template for it. It's just a real DIY aesthetic, which is one thing I think. You know, there's no two that are exactly alike. That's for sure. So they're like a fingerprint, you know.
All right, now this is going to be interesting. There's a big distinction amongst vests in itself. There's the black metal vest, the death metal vest, the heavy metal vest, the old school metal. Are you focusing on all those subgenres?
Yeah, all of the above, basically. Just as long as it doesn't look too sort of mall-made and sort of boring. As long as there's some, you know, blood and sweat on it, literally, you know. Or but I'm not discriminating for any kind of genre. I've been into them all at various times, and you know, metal and punk and everything in between. I'm open to, you know.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah. So I'm not trying to be a snob with music styles or anything, you know.
What other cities are you going to?
Well, I started in San Diego, and here for a few days. We got
San Diego Metal Swap Meet.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. And then San Francisco and the East Bay later this week. Then Portland next week. Yep. And then Seattle and Vancouver. And then in about a month going to the East Coast, Maryland Death Fest, New York City. And then working on some European stuff for later in the summer. So trying to get over to Germany. You know, they're the kings of this thing, this stuff here.
Would you say that this maybe originated in Europe?
Well, that's hard to say. I'm not exactly certain, to be honest with you. I think it has an old, like, American biker gang kind of mentality as well, you know, or influence of that. So but it really thrives in the European metal scene, and people are really dedicated over there and have some really impressive jackets.
Yeah, you know, in Europe, you don't see an age distinction. You know, like that goes from youth to old. So hopefully, when you take my photo, I won't look like an asshole. Peter Beste, what will be the title of your book?
I'm not. It's actually an open title. I'm not sure at the moment, so not quite ready to get into that yet.
I want to thank you for taking the time to talk to me. I'm here with Peter Beste. Bring out your vests.